Greetings, fellow traders. Well, here it's time for the lunchtime market update for Friday, September the 11th, 2020. I hope everybody is having a great trading day today. This is brought to you by Positive Trends Research, and everything we're going to talk about is for educational purposes only and not investment advice. So please take a moment to review this disclaimer. Awesome. All right, well, let's take a look and see where we are at the market here today. So the market is flushing right now. I am not shorting it right now. I just got done shorting, so sometimes you can only take so much, right? So you don't want to get too greedy, right? Because sometimes if you jump in again, right, it kind of, that's when it starts to bounce, right? A lot of times it's good to use our emotions to gauge, when we should be in and out of a trade. If you start getting really excited about it when you're in a trade, a lot of times it's a good area to move stops up, right? So good stuff there. Got a phone call coming in. 1 second. Okay, so pulling back a little bit right here, right? So as we're approaching that open gap in the weekly chart, we talked about that last night on the live stream. That this is really kind of a big magnet right here, and of course we're talking about the volatility as well at the Cloud Canyon that we're coming up on here, right? Daily chart. Okay, so kind of important area right here. We really need to see what kind of volume we get. We're right at the 50-day moving average. It's an interesting area here for the market to potentially bounce. Let's take a look at the volume. It was pretty low volume overall at the beginning of the, so this is a low volume day here today. We had some decent contract size on the S&P futures, but right here, even on the SPY, right at the 50-day moving average right here. So again, really low volume on this. This is not the type of thing I want to short over the weekend, right? Especially if we bounce off of this and rally into the end of the day, which could be interesting. So we'll take a look at that. But here's what we looked at today on the S&P futures. So what we found is we were pretty range bound at the open. Yesterday we were super duper choppy. Today we were kind of whipsaw price action between ranges. So the cool stuff is, guys, if y'all saw the channel that I put out this morning, right? Once we broke out of that into the open, right, it gave a couple nice moves right here. This is kind of a hands-off type stuff, right? It wasn't really clear, but we did have a signal zone area with potential target and a potential bounce. But notice how we bounced off of that right at the open, right? So this is starting to show you that there is a big range intraday, right? And so it's a lot different than yesterday's move, right? We were choppy, and then we moved. So here we're starting to move a lot, right? And then we tagged the lows of the day twice. Two nice bounces off of these areas, and then got a decent dip, came back to the signal zone, bounced its way back up, got to the 15-orb high, inside 5, back down, right? So we got a nice short off of this, off of the highs, and also these pivot levels right here. And then we came back up and we retraced, right? So we retraced right here off of this down move, right there to about a 50% retrace right between the 6.8, right? And so 618. So that started another move down, and then we just caught another short right here off of the 15 or below, which ended up bringing us down very nicely right here. So that was a good move right here. Let's see how it holds. We're in another signal zone below right here. So again, 3310, kind of a big level. We tested 3300 recently, but again, we're right at the 50-day moving average here on the daily chart. So on the SPY and the SPX. So we'll see how that holds there going into the rest of the day. The MES, again, same stuff, right? So key levels here breaking out of these the channel right here, and then of course we've got our geometric lines right here, and we broke a couple major levels here today too, so you can see how we broke down there. But retest the 15 orbit for a nice short there to the downside. So good stuff there. Let's say with the Qs. Now the Qs were relatively weak today, right? So we had a more confirmation, right? So we're not seeing the divergences that we've been seeing. We've been seeing the big five working their way down. We've seen the Nasdaq working its way down too. So we also saw that below the 15 orb here today. They're gonna have to come up with some shenanigans to get this thing to bounce at the end of the day right here. But maybe that 50-day will trigger some algos. Again, really tight range on the IWM. This is more like yesterday's price action where we got really tight up here, really tight, and that broke to the downside as well. Let's take a look at Apple here this morning. So Apple again was another one too. We shorted this earlier today for a quick move, and then it just kind of rallied up. We kind of caught this inside 5 down here today, and took profit there before the rally. But it was still on the short radar today. Of course, the SPY was a lot easier to short. So Tesla. Again, they finally got this thing red here today. It's not hugely red, but it is holding kind of a lot of levels right here. So let's see how that holds into the rest of the day and see if they decide to rally. Tesla, Elon Musk tweeted out, big things coming on battery day. So we'll see what that's all about here too. A couple ones that we pointed out at the open today. So AMD. AMD gave us a nice down move here this morning. So initial breakdown, right? Then the retest here, the 786 retracement, and that gave another nice short opportunity this morning. It got a little bit choppy right here, nice little triangle type move, came back, retested, and then that started its wave down. And then, so that was a good one here today. Facebook, members did well on this one today. We pointed out the extension on this one, or the retracement on this one this morning, which was pretty interesting as well. So if you go down here, right, this is a pretty significant retrace here before it got shortable, right? So you have this down here early this morning, right? So it's right at the 886, right? So that was a very, very interesting area. And members actually took this short for a huge move. I think more than a double on that one on the options here. Good Friday fun stuff. Another one that was pretty interesting as well was Boeing. So Boeing gave a nice reversal this morning, and apparently it's given a pretty big reversal right here. Look at that M pattern right here, double top. But for the most part, though, this was really nice, right? So what we had right here is a big push to the upside. Instead of chasing the highs, look at the 382 pullback right there for another pop up. And then, of course, it's coming back down. See how it holds the 15 orb here into the rest of the day. So we got it going on there. So we got a couple chart requests out there, and I always appreciate those. So let's take a look at this. So we got Docu on the radar today, too. So Docu, pretty interesting, right? It got kind of beat up here this morning. I know, there's a potential for a dip buy on it, but check this out here. We're right at the upward trend line right here. So this is and a low volume move on this one. Docu looks really interesting going into the weekend. So see how that goes today. We've also got Piton with earnings today. This did not give a gap and go. Why? Because we didn't get over yesterday, the highs, and we reversed off of it, right? So that's exactly what we talk about all the time on the live streams, right? Chewy, let's take a look at that one. So Chewy again just down off of the earnings there today. Tried to hold, and then if you look at the pre-market activity on Chewy right here, big upper shadow on that one and kind of worked its way down. So it's right at the 50-day and right at its upper trend line too. So that's Docu and Chewy both hitting some major levels going into the weekend. So we'll see if those end up becoming buyable dips. And we'll obviously volume on Chewy, but low volume on that Docu, which is really interesting. Again, more TikTok nonsense going on out there. So Walmart still working its way down. We talked about this as a short idea a couple days ago in the group, and it's really gotten some nice follow through on that one today. Let's take a look at Overstock, another one. So Overstock again, we talked about this on the short radar for today. Beautiful down move. This was on the game plan from last night. It was the first one on the short side of the game plan. Why? Because trend box, right, came back up, retested the upper trend line right here, shooting star with an open gap, plus this thing is volatile as anything, right? And so it ended up filling that gap right there and coming back to that double inside day range. So that was a nice move on Overstock. And then Zoom, of course, tried to do the morning star reversal the other day. Let's see if this pullback to the 80 MA ends up being viable on Zoom. Also, a couple other chart requests out there. We've got Netflix. So Netflix, pretty interesting today, right? Gave a nice pullback. This was not on our bearish radar as much as something like Facebook. That's why we like the short on Facebook today, because of how it broke down yesterday. But remember yesterday, Netflix was down below the cloud, but on decreasing volume, right? So that doesn't really get us excited about that one. But it's down a little bit here today. So, but it procrastinated on that one. It took a while for it to work its way down. AMTM, beautiful, right? So nice follow through on this one. I love the increased volume yesterday, and that got there. See how important the volume is? I really love that stuff. Hess, that's another one to kind of look at right here. Not one I trade too much, but again, oil just has been getting destroyed, so that worked its way down here pretty nicely. CVS, that was another one too from last night, which was a good one to have on the bearish radar. Is getting some great follow through here today. And then finally, last but not least, NBL, another energy name right here. Again, this one I probably would not mess with at all. 6 cents, right? I'm not looking for huge moves on this one, but it is breaking down a little bit from yesterday. So good stuff, guys. I really appreciate everybody's requests. I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your day. We'll catch you guys in the market wrap. Happy Friday, everybody. Stay healthy out there, and remember, risk first and stay safe so you can stay in the game. And I'll talk to you guys.